So in this video today, I want to show you how to use Ravelry, specifically the search function in the pattern section based on using the filters. So how to find what you want using the filters in the pattern section. So I'm here on the homepage of Ravelry. I'm going to click over here onto patterns. And for today's purposes, we're going to look for a cabled blanket. So instead of clicking over here in the categories or even putting in cabled blanket, we're just going to click the empty search box. And what that's going to bring up is a list of all the patterns, so 936,000. But that's a lot for us to search through. So over here on the left, you'll see that we have filters. Mine might be organized a little bit different than yours. You can drag them up and down depending on how often you use something. So we're going to start with, let's see, I think it'll probably be under home. Yep. And then blanket. Now we want a baby blanket. So we're going to click baby blanket. So that's going to narrow it down to 19,000. Still a lot. We can continue to narrow that down. I want to knit it. I'm not going to click on availability just yet, but I do want to use a worsted. So I'll click on that. And so now we're already down to 1900. So we're getting closer. And then over here in the attributes, you're going to find things like, let's see, I think it's going to be under, so fabric characteristics, so cables. So we're going to click that. So that's going to leave us with 224 different baby blanket options. Now, when we scroll back up at the top, we can then click up here to click hot right now, most popular, most favorited, however you want to go through them. I like to go through hot right now. That's generally where I start. And that should, let's maybe see if most popular switches it up. Okay, we'll go to most popular. So then we can begin to scroll through and look at all of the blankets that match our criteria. Now, that doesn't mean that this is the only cable baby blanket on Ravelry, that there are only 224. What this means is that the pattern writer tagged those specific qualities for this pattern. So what happens, let's do a search here. If we let's clear all this and let's just type in cabled baby blanket. So that's going to give us 1,500 matches. Now, if you scroll through, you can see that some of them aren't even cabled baby blankets. So it's really important to learn how to use the search functions. So what this does is this is searching for words in the title or the description. It's not necessarily helping you weed out different, so like it's not going to take out the socks. It's not going to take out the scarves. It's going to have anything with the words cabled baby or blanket within the description or within the title. So we'll clear that again. And you can see, like, let's do a lacy shawl. And we'll do color work. So under accessories, we'll go to neck and torso, shawl or wrap. And if you want to even get more specific, because shawl or wrap, you could have triangular, you could have rectangular, you could have half moon. We'll look at that in a second. I am going to knit it. I want to use fingering weight. So here you can choose yardage, but I know that I want two colors. I want a 2-color shawl. So down here, I'm going to click that. Now that might mean that there's 2 or more, but it definitely uses at least 2. And then up here, we can pick shapes. So I really want, let's do a triangle. So so now we're down to 1,300. And then if you want, you can get even more specific. So I want something that has mesh or eyelets or lace. So you could even narrow it down there. Or maybe you really want something with brioche or baubles. So here you can see that we've got 1,300. So that is a lot, but it's narrowing it down. And then you can come in here, and if you want to do hot right now, it's going to show you what people are making. And then you can just begin to scroll. Now, if you haven't done a lot of searching on Ravelry, this one's cute. Let's look at this. So, okay, it's asked me to translate this page because it must be a pattern writer that's not primarily in English. Strict Mitch, she's got a ton of patterns, so I trust that she would have an English version, which we can see down here. It does say that there's an English version, but to give you a basic rundown of how to read this, this is the name of the pattern, the designer. Here are the places in which you can find this pattern. And then this is going to give you more specific information. So it's a knitting pattern. This is how we got here, the categories. This was when it was published. These are suggested yarns. You don't have to use them. It's a fingering weight. This is the gauge. That's the needle size. That's the yardage. And there's only one size available. Sometimes shawls will come in like a small, a medium, or large, but this is just one. And then you can choose to buy the pattern there, or if it's available in a book, you can sometimes buy it in a book. And then there's just some descriptions and some color or some pictures. And then over here, this is the part that I always tell my students when you're looking at a new pattern. This is the important part, I think, to make sure that this pattern has been thoroughly tested, so that if you're not familiar with this pattern writer's work, you can see that it has been done well. So over here, there's 2,000 projects. So we're going to click on that. And that's going to show us all of the projects that have been documented here on Ravelry. That doesn't mean it's all that have been made, because not everybody puts stuff on Ravelry. But you can find things that are like, so down here, you can see that this one person found this documentation to be helpful. 22 people liked it. I think you can, yeah, so you can click on all helpful projects, and that will give you, like, let's say there's some people adapted the pattern, or maybe there were some tricky parts in the pattern. If people have marked it as helpful, that means that they have included information that makes it easier for you to make. So if you're new to something, sometimes it's good to check out the helpful posts. So that is a very quick tutorial on how I prefer to use Ravelry when I am looking for something really specific. Now, if you're just kind of browsing, you can come over here to the browse categories, and you can get more specific in there. So if we were to do like a pullover sweater, you click on that. This tells you the most popular designs for a pullover. And you can, if you wish, search inside this category and just start using all of the filters that we used before. So that just narrows down that very first part that it's a pullover. Yeah, I think that's it for today's lesson on using Ravelry search features. Have a great day. Bye.